Reddit. Regardless of your opinion of the occult or supernatural, what is the most downright creepy or inexplicable thing that you've ever experienced? When I was young 10 to 12 I would wake up earlier than everyone else and it would be dark out still. I would head to the basement to watch TV or go on the computer. I wouldn't turn lights on. I would just walk through the house in total darkness. To get downstairs you would go down 2 steps to the landing and back door and then turn left and go down the flight of stairs. This was back when we had an old tube TV, and if you know about them then you probably remember when you turned off a tube TV there would be a white flash of light for a split second. It happened many times where I would see a light flash reflect off the wall at the bottom of the stairs when I would start walking down. The type of flash that looked like someone turned the TV off. It was the creepiest thing when I would see it. I also had some feelings of someone else there if I woke up in the middle of the night sometimes. It's possible my eyes or brain were playing tricks on me. But it happened more than once. I always left the lights off and tried to be quiet to catch this couch potato phantom. After my mother died I redid her room. She liked to paint. So I put up some of her paintings. One didn't have a frame. So it was a couple of months before I got around to putting it up. As I stepped out of the room I turned to look back. I saw my mother sitting on the edge of the bed. Smiling. Very happy. She turned to me. And though I couldn't hear anything, I saw her lips saying thank you. And she was gone. Many years ago my husband and I were living on the upper floor of an old house in Minneapolis that had been converted into a duplex. I have always had trouble sleeping and was sitting up late reading after he went to bed and I heard someone walking up the back stairway. You could access the lower duplex, our duplex, and the attic and basement from the back stairway. The footsteps went past our door and continued to the attic and I could hear someone messing with the doorknob. Then the footsteps went back down, they came back up. I woke my husband up and he could hear them too. He wanted to go look but I insisted on calling the police. In the meantime we heard the footsteps walking across the attic. Then they stopped. The police checked it out. Found nothing. Looked all around the backyard and found no evidence of anyone walking around. The back door and the attic door were both locked. And it had recently snowed out and there were no footprints in the snow. No wet shoe prints on the stairs. It's the only thing that ever happened while we were there. Given the snow, I'm going to correctly hypothesize that it was Santa Claus. My bed used to shake at night. It wasn't an earthquake. Or a train passing by, I didn't live that close to the tracks. It was like someone was standing at the foot of my bed and shaking the frame. I got used to it because my parents wouldn't believe me. Also, things would happen I couldn't explain. I had some Simpsons figurines set up neatly on the shelf. I heard them hit the floor, but was too half asleep to care. When I woke up, I saw that they didn't just fall over. They were scattered across the floor like someone violently knocked them off the shelf. This other time, I was watching a movie on one of those old TV/VCR combos. I turned it off to go smoke. So, when you power it off, it ejects the tape. When I came back the movie was playing again. Someone would have had to physically push the tape back in for that to happen. It couldn't have happened on its own. I witnessed a 12-year-old boy likely experiencing dissociative identity disorder transition between personalities. Every muscle in his face changed. His voice changed. His eyes changed in dilation and patterns of movement. The voice was unearthly and sinister. He began threatening to hurt his primary personality and everyone in the room. It was genuinely terrifying. I share this because at the time I was much younger and believed it was a supernatural/possession type occurrence. The girl who prevented me from killing myself. Long story very short. Was seconds away. Girl shows up. We talk. Get food. Talks me out of it. Got her name but can find absolutely nothing about her anywhere. Employees also said I came in alone and ate quietly. Driving down a street. Middle of the day. I checked my rear view for traffic behind me and saw a hand reach up in the back seat. Almost jumped the curb when I swerved out of shock. Looked around to an empty seat. I pulled into a parking lot to confirm that I couldn't have seen anything. Not only was the back seat empty of people but no loose items either. No events in my life around this. No deaths of family or friends. And nothing that I could find out about the spot on the city street that was significant. It's cool, I never wanted to drive again anyways. Not creepy. But when I was maybe 7 to 8 to know. I was a bit scared. And asked to sleep in my mom's bed with her. When I just got snuggled up. I quickly looked up and saw an elderly woman. Lighter shadow than the rest of the room. Sitting on the corner of the bed. My side. She was looking at us. Silently gazing. Just observing. I, being scared, got up quickly. And waved my hand through the spot. Quickly got under the covers. And my imagination started running. So I hid and slept. Sometime later. A few days maybe. I asked my mom if she believed in ghosts. And she said she was on the fence about it. I prodded and she said that she had 2 experiences with a woman in the house. I then told her what I saw. A few years later and I pondered whether she was just telling me what I wanted to hear. I asked her about it again. Careful not to mention the ghost till after she told me about her experience. My mum doesn't have great memory so didn't remember me asking. I have also asked her a 3rd time. And I am convinced there are ghosts. I want to go back and help that woman. Also we always had these bells that supposedly kept out evil spirits. We saw it as just an ornament though. The guy I bought my house from. Had his wife die in the pool. Every now and then my wife and I have strange feelings of something rubbing/touching our legs at night. It's weird. As it's not necessarily creepy. But a tad unnerving. My brother died when he was 21. I found him laying on the floor. It wasn't a great experience. But he does still visit me from time to time. I've seen him plenty of times at home. My previous home or mum and dad's. I can smell his favorite deodorant in places where you wouldn't normally smell anything like it. Like in the shed. Or catch a whiff of it in the bush where there's no one around. Not even remotely creepy to me. I just say hello or thank you. I grew up in Mississippi and we used to go play in the woods off the Natchez Trace when we were teens. The NT was a vital trade route in the 1800s and a lot of bad things occurred there. There was a group of us and we kept seeing the figure of a man watching us from behind various trees. Okay. So it was a guy watching us. Right? But this guy kept randomly appearing behind trees 50 feet apart and there was no way he could make the distance between them without being seen. A few of us decided to flank him and came up alongside. There was nobody there. We promptly got the beep out of there. I had several experiences like that over the first 20 years of my life in that state. I was staying at my grandma's house and my brother and I shared a room. We were talking about how cool it would be to see Grandpa's ghost. Sometime in the middle of the night. My brother got up for the bathroom and freaked out. Saying Grandpa was in the mirror. I thought he was joking. But sure enough. I saw the mirror and Grandpa was in it. Transparent. Like they are stereotypically portrayed. He was in a suit fixing his tie. I remember it so vividly. It freaked us out and we slept in a different room instead. I do not believe in supernatural stuff at all and am very skeptical/critical of ideas of an afterlife and the supernatural. But I remember this so clearly and can't explain it. I wish I could see it now. Now that I'm older. In high school we'd pass time driving on backcountry roads late at night. No booze or drugs or anything involved. Just chit-chatting and singing along to music or whatever while we drove around. Once when it was just one of my girlfriends and me. We were cruising when we suddenly came up on a girl in the middle of the road. We both saw her and screamed. She was so close to us. She couldn't possibly have had enough time to run out of the way. My friend swerved and slammed on the brakes so hard we wound up horizontal in the street. But when we got out to investigate, no one was there. Total silence. Nothing on or off the road in any direction. We were so spooked we called a friend to tail us all the way home. Over 15 years later it still scares me so much I get teary-eyed just thinking about it.